All right, Tech Zone, Paul Amadeus Lane. And as you know, I sing the praises of the Consumer Technology Association on a regular basis. You know, I owe them for really my plunge into the tech world. I told the story in the beginning of the show when I was able to meet the late, great Jim Barry. For the first time I broadcast at CES, it was 2009. And I did a morning show then, and I was just talking about everything on the morning show. But as I progressed in my career in broadcasting, I decided to make tech my focus. And Consumer Technology Association has just embraced me. They've allowed me the privilege of being a CES judge, and they're always accessible for me to talk to them. I talked to the CEO, Gary Shapiro, had him on the show. Sean Dubrovac, before he left. Just a plethora of good folks over there. Ali Fried, she's over there. Tyler Suiters, Steve Koenig, all of them. And I can't forget my good friend, Jamie Lilly. Yeah. And if I miss you over there, I'm just having man brain right now. I can't remember a lot of things. I'm getting old. But hey, there's some great events happening real soon that the Consumer Technology Association is putting on, up to the culmination of the biggest show in the tech industry in 2018 CES. And look who I have joining me right now to discuss. I really don't know why he comes back and joins me on the show, because he's such a busy person. I feel honored when he comes on.
Oh, stop.
My friend, Jeff Joseph. What's going on, Jeff?
No, man. I always have time for you. It's not a problem. I always have to speak to you and your audience. Always my pleasure.
I really appreciate it, my friend. And as we look at the events that just happened in Paris and Amsterdam and how those events have grown over the years. I remember it was just the CES in Vegas, and then maybe New York unveiled. Why did you guys decide to expand that into Asia and all these other markets?
You know, CES is truly a global show. We have about a third of our attendees who come from all around the world, every major country. If you walk around the exhibition floor, one year I remember I was tweeting out all the different languages I heard as I walked around the exhibit floor. I think I got up to 8 or 9 that I could recognize, a couple I couldn't. So it truly is a global show, even though it's here in the United States. And one way we try to tell the CES story, we try to attract exhibitors and media, is by going to different countries and doing these media events. So we were just in Amsterdam and in Paris, where we held what we call, and we had a luncheon in London, where we hold these events that we call CES Unveiled, where we bring together members of the media, we bring together exhibitors and innovators from that region, from those countries in that region, to talk, to meet, and sort of preview what they'll be seeing at CES. We also talk about what we expect to see at CES and talk about some of the trends we're seeing in the industry as well.
And you know, Jeff, it seems like, once CES is over, you got to start working on for next year. And it's kind of like that feeling you get when you go back to school after a big break, like it's coming, I can't wait. But the good thing about it, what you guys have done over there was give us these smaller events where we can still experience, CES and get that vibe. And what I thought was amazing, I saw on social media when you were up in Silicon Valley a few weeks ago. And the interview that you had an interview with a pretty heavyweight, a discussion with a pretty big heavyweight. Please share that with us.
Yeah. Now, it was fascinating. So we do an event in Silicon Valley. It was in San Francisco, actually, called Innovate Celebrate. And it's really about recognizing startups. We partner with a media partner called TechCo. They do great work around the startup community. And so we bring some of our established brands to meet the startups. They have a chance to network, to exchange ideas. We do mentoring. And as part of that conference, we have a series of keynotes and presentations to help educate both, our members, some of the bigger companies, as well as our startups, and then the startups that TechCo brings. And I had the opportunity to interview the CTO of the Department of Homeland Security. Amazing guy. He spent 20 years in the private sector doing running companies, and he took that experience and brought it to the public sector. We often hear a lot about government employees, and we all have our opinions of the Trump administration, the Obama administration. But as people like Mike, who are just amazing, who give up, a nice life in the private sector where he's making, good money and doing well. And he decided that he wanted to help after 9/11. He wanted to help our country, and this was a way for him to give back. And he was just an amazing guy. The expertise he brings, the work he's doing to keep us safe from both foreign and domestic terrorism was really just, at one point I almost got a little choked up. I was really proud.
No, it was amazing. I saw some of the clips and I was like, wow, Jeff is doing his thing, and I was really, really proud of you, my friend, of what you accomplished during that interview, because it was a discussion that we definitely needed to have, especially with the Department of Homeland Security and everything, and how critical that is to the nation in which we live in. And Jeff, what's been kind of the feedback with the event that just happened in Silicon Valley with the established companies and the startups? Have the startups been able to get some good advice, and vice versa? Sometimes you have the younger startups that can infuse some good energy in the established companies too.
You're right. You hit it right on the nose. When you get a little older like me, a little girl around the temples, when I'm around young people, I get energized. It's the exact same for some of the more established companies, some of the bigger brands, that they can learn, how to be a little more nimble, or they may find new technologies that they can invest in, or they can incubate and develop partnerships. So we certainly saw that. But, one of the things that excites me most are to see the kind of startups that are there. We've talked before about, I know a lot of people are hurting in this country. I know not everyone's been able to participate in some of the economic gains, but there is a undercurrent of amazing things happening in this nation, where people, I talk a lot about younger people, but it's people who are advanced age like me too, who are starting companies and doing amazing things. So we partner with TechCo, and they hold what they call their Startup of the Year competition. And the winner of that competition was a really cool company called Oscar Wellness. And they create this device that provides relief for chronic pain. So if you have a chronic backache or again, aging like me, your elbows hurt, maybe your knees hurt from a little too much ball when I was younger, you wear this thing for about 30 minutes, and it will relieve the pain. And they've done a series of testing. I believe they're still waiting for final FDA approval, but it's an amazing technology. We also gave out some awards. We awarded one of those companies that was participating in the TechCo Startup of the Year competition. We gave them a free booth at CES at Eureka Park, which, as you know, is where we host startups. It's sort of the center of startups at CES. And we gave that award to this unbelievable company called Allergy Amulet, founded by a young woman who suffered allergies all of her life. And it's literally an amulet you wear around your neck. It looks like a piece of jewelry. You open it up and it has a little sort of needle type device. You stick it in if you're in a restaurant. You put it in the food that you're about to eat, and it connects to an app. And it will tell you if there are ingredients in that food that you may be allergic to. My daughter is allergic to pine nuts, and we can sort of save her from that at home. But when we go out to eat, you don't always know. So it's an amazing technology that can help actually save lives. So those are the sort of innovations we've seen. The last one I'll talk about, we also gave a company an award called our Innovation Entrepreneur Awards, and we gave it to a company called GoSun. They make solar-powered cooking devices, solar-powered grills. So if you don't want to use gas, you don't want to use fossil fuels, you don't want to use electricity, you can actually collect solar power and cook the food. It looks really good, but more importantly, it'll allow for people who live in areas without access to energy sources to be able to feed themselves. Imagine providing these grills at a relatively low cost to people in impoverished areas of Africa or around the world, where they have the natural resource of sunlight, but they don't have access to any other energy sources, and they can now cook and feed for themselves. It's unbelievable. It's a way that technology has helped change the world.
Yeah, and I had an opportunity to interview the CEO of GoSun last year. And he was a really, really cool cat, and just what he was doing out there. And you're right. That was really the thrust of the company, to help third world countries and ones who don't have access to cooking things. And it's truly amazing. I was talking to a techpreneur the other day, and we were chatting about their innovation, and it was something to do with improving life, screening for oral cancer. And the discussion that she and I had, I was like, to me, this is the tech that I really get excited about. Even though it's nice to have apps on your phone, have this 4K TV, do this, and, be able to use your voice to do a lot of things. But it's the one that's changing our lives and making us healthier that I really get like giddy as a schoolboy about.
There you go. Now you're talking my language. I think we talked about this last time we spoke. That I just love. Look, everybody loves the mobile phones. I'm a TV guy. I love my 4K TV. It's all good. The apps are amazing. But when you dig down and you think about the way that technology is helping address some of the great challenges of our time. Whether it's homeless or hunger, whether it's healthcare, they're simply just allowing us to connect. Again, I know there's a lot of debate and controversy over some of these social media apps, and people have different feelings on different issues. But if you look at a campaign like the hashtag #MeToo, I'm not making a political statement, but to see people use this platform to be able to engage and build community. Like anything else, it can be used for evil, but it can be used for good when we can use technology to connect and break down the barriers of time and space. It's an amazing thing. Or you see technologies like the one you described, or GoSun, or Allergy Amulet, that are helping solve real problems and helping people with real issues. We had another company we looked at that we awarded that helps the blind. They wear sort of a type of glasses, and again, connected to an app, they connect to a real person behind a computer screen who can see what they see, so they can guide them as they walk down the street or in crowded areas, and tell them in ways that an app or other ways just can't do yet. Sometimes you just need a human voice to say, hey, that's, to describe what's in front of you. So those types of things are really addressing critical needs.
Yeah, and I tell you, it's like give me the chill sometimes when we see where we're at in the Internet of Things and how it's really changing our lives for the better. And Jeff, when we look at now transporting ourselves to CES Unveiled in New York. We know that's happening in a few. So what are you guys going to do in the NYC?
Well, it's like I described earlier, these unveiled events. We do them in Europe, and we do them. We've done the one in New York. Gosh, man, I'm going to get the number wrong, but for a number of decades, it's an annual event where, again, we come in as Consumer Technology Association. We're the ones who put on CES, and we talk about some of the trends. We'll see at the show. We'll make some exciting announcements about keynotes and some of the other things going on. And then we have exhibits. You can go around, and again, some of the companies will preview the types of things that they'll be showcasing at CES, so we can get a chance to sort of see some of the trends. We'll have a special startup area, sort of a mini Eureka Park for startups, as well as some of the established companies. But it's a great way to network. It's a great opportunity for the media to even write about some of the products that may be out in time for the holiday season. And begin to get us all excited about, all right, don't know what I want for the holidays yet, don't know what gift. Look for the media coverage from Unveiled New York, CES Unveiled New York, to figure out what you want to get for the holidays for yourself or for a good gift.
Absolutely, and I can't believe it slipped my mind. The CT Hall of Fame,
and you're hitting all,
that's also enough for ones out there who are in the consumer market out there who really don't know what goes on during that event. Well, what happens there?
That's a beautiful event. Thank you for raising it. We all are greater because we stand on the shoulders of those who came before us. We think about, say, Wi-Fi. We don't think about how it was created. The people who developed that technology or who built the initial technology. We think about all these people who came before us who allow us to enjoy this great technology. So we created the Consumer Technology Hall of Fame to honor those people and recognize those pioneers, even going back to Thomas Edison, and going back that far. But more recently, some of the inventors of some of these great technologies. And I can't give away, because it's a secret, who the honorees will be this year. But I think you'll be excited, and you'll recognize some of the technologies. And we've honored greats who were involved in developing the technology. We've honored those who have served in government, who helped create public policies that have allowed us to innovate. We've honored people in the media, all of whom are part of that great culture and ecosystem. It's a beautiful night. It's like watching any other Hall of Fame or induction ceremony where the people really are emotional. It's a great honor to be recognized by your peers for something that you were passionate about, something that you really cared about. It's one of my favorite events of the year. It's a beautiful, beautiful evening, a lot of emotion. And again, it's just really cool to see the people who invented these amazing technologies that we now take for granted and use every day. It's unbelievable.
We are so looking forward to it, my friend, and I'm looking forward to catching up with you at CES 2018 and get you interviewed there so we can talk about the good old times at CES and just some other things that I'm sure you would like to share with us at that time too. But
it's gonna be
Jeff,
great. I probably every year I say that it's gonna be the biggest and best ever. This year it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be live. You're gonna love it.
Always an honor talking to you, my friend. Every time I talk to you, I get a little smarter.
I'd say the same too. You take care of yourself, and we'll see you in Vegas, man.
You do the same. A huge shout out once again to my good friend Jeff Joseph over at the Consumer Technology Association. Love talking to Jeff. Love spending time with him, and looking forward to seeing him at CES 2018. Well, it's time for me, in the words of Biff Tannen, to make like a tree and get out of here. And again, thoughts and prayers go to Jim Barry's family. We're going to miss you, Jim. You're an amazing person, amazing talent, and you will be missed. Until next time, folks, I'll talk to you soon.